Alright, War Robots fans, this is Bagofsoup coming at you with some more test server videos this weekend. This is test server 2.8, and this is Saturday, March 18th. And what we're testing this week, one of the things is the new Dash Mark III. We've already had a few other versions of the Dash bot. The Mark I that we first saw a month or so ago had 2 medium weapons, but it did not have a shield with it. It just had extra speed and a faster dash ability. Then we had the Mark II, which had 3 medium weapons, was a little slower, with a little slower dash ability, but had an energy shield, like a Carnage or a Fujin built in. Finally, this weekend, we're getting the Mark III, which is definitely a slower, like a heavy bot. Still has the 3 medium weapons and has a physical shield to the side, and we're going to take a look at that. You can't move that shield from the side to the front like a Camelot bot. You have to just leave it in place and turn your bot to the side to block things with it. Definitely slower. The cooldown on the dash ability is definitely slower as well. So they're testing out this one, and we're not quite sure if these are going to be 3 different dash bots or if this is going to be, they're just trying to pick the best version of it and balance it out. And what I've done is I've put some of the more popular setups for the medium weapons on there. I've got the close range tarans on there. Also the close range orkan missiles. Also we're testing once again the firearms speed up. So I've got the punishers on there. And I've got also the longer range molots on there. And finally they have redesigned the CRV pins and the tulumbas. So I've got the tulumbas on there. You can take a look at the new design of these, since these are the medium version of the CRV pins. So not quite sure why they redesigned it. They still have the same 18-second reload on there. So we've got that. We're going to go ahead and jump into a match on the test server, try out our different Dash Bot Mark IIIs, and see how we do. And then we're also going to try out some different bots and setups this weekend. They're also testing the Heavy Gun Molot prototype as well. And they've got some new skins out for a few of the different bots, so we'll test those out in some further videos. Let's jump on into a match in Canyon. We'll test out the Dash and see how this Mark III version works out. First off, let's jump in with the Terran Dash, and we'll go ahead and head to the, well, at least try to head to a beacons. What you'll notice is, once again, this is a much slower version of the Dash that we've seen. The first Mark I had 60 kilometers an hour speed and a pretty quick dash ability every 4 or 5 seconds. The Mark II slowed down from 60 down to 45, and yeah, we're gonna have to just turn our shield into these guys, and which is the tricky part of this bot. No energy shield, and yeah, we can't even get in range of these guys here. No energy shield and a non-movable physical shield. So we've already lost our weaponry. We got to take out one guy there. Let's go ahead and jump into more of a long-range bot, since we're dealing with some long-range campers back there. We'll try out the molots, see how the speed up is on them. Of course, we got to work through that physical shield. So let's go ahead and focus on this guy over here. Here's another Dashbot Mark III. One thing I don't like about the molots is the long clip. Now this guy's got a double ancile, so I'm going to let other people deal with him. We're not really set for that, and we'll just focus in on some of these other guys. Here's a little, well, looks like a little Gareth with a physical shield, so we'll work on him a little bit. And I'm going to turn our shield to block those orchids there and reload here. Let's see. And we've also got a Carnage there with that heavy, heavy prototype Molot on there. Okay, now we're gonna have to bust through that shield. The reason we couldn't bust through that other, I'm gonna turn my shield to block this guy's fire here until I get around this corner here. And that's the awkward thing about using this bot is trying to adjust yourself. You can't really shoot. You can't really fire and use that shield at the same time because you wouldn't be pointing at your target. So you've got to really decide when you're going to fire and use. I've been watching other people use this bot this weekend, and to be honest, I haven't really liked it. I think the Orkan one would probably be the best. just because you got to get in there and destroy your opponent up close with a quick fire and forget, and then use that shield to block. So that's what we're going to try to do here. And then, of course, we can try to dash away if someone shoots at us if we're ready. That's another thing. If you look straight ahead, you can see a Rog right there, Rogatka. It just got a significant change. It got a complete redesign. It got a much faster speed and a quicker jump ability. So it may only have the 2 medium weapons, but it's definitely got some potential now as a beacon runner and an ambusher. Because it went from 48 speed to 60 speed. Higher than a Gepard or a Gepard. Close to a Gareth or a Stalker or a Jesse. Fastest medium bot now. And of course it's got a much quicker jump than before, which only makes it faster. So the Rog is definitely going to be a mean character here. Let's go ahead and jump and get close into this beacon, but I'm going to go ahead and use some shelter here, cover. So one thing about this Mark III, of course, is it's got the 3 guns on the side, so you're going to definitely want to corner shoot with it more than anything else, because that other shield is kind of hard to use on it. Let's see who we've got sitting over here. He'll be a little hard to take out, but I'm going to let those plasma guys work on him. Well, we might as well shoot at him. We don't have to reload for anybody else at the moment. And we'll look for our next target here. So we've jumped into the tulumbas. We've got the redesigned model here that we can take a look at and see how it goes. Here's a Lancelot that would be good to work on. We'll stay out of his range, and we'll go ahead and fire and see how 3 mediums works on him. We did a pretty good job of hurting him there, and we'll just try and stay back out of cover for him here. I could see on this bot how the tulumbas would work pretty well and how the orkans would work pretty well. I haven't been impressed with the tarans yet, because honestly I don't think he has the speed to get out of a situation with tarans. So I would much rather have orkans, where you're going to just try to fire and totally destroy a guy. Or the tulumbas, where you've got range to stay out of there. I mean, I guess molots would work too. Anything with range. Let's go ahead and try and hit this guy from the corner. I think 2 tulumbas is not a very good use of the weapon because of the long reload. But like a Fujin, if a dash has 3 medium weapons, I think that's definitely worth using, because the damage will do well with the reload there. You get a lot more bang for your buck. Let's go ahead and get in a little closer and see who we can take out here. So in the comment section below, I'd like to hear if you've tried the dash, what you think about the Mark III version. Let's take out this little Gareth, see how much damage we can do in one volley here. Not sure if all the shots connected there. We'll stay out of his way here, let some other guys work on him. I think he's taken out. And let's see if we can hit this guy from a distance. Let's dash into range, literally. And then we'll go ahead and take a shot on him. I'm curious what you think of the Mark III. Did you prefer the Mark I with the only 2 guns, the faster speed, and no shields? Did you prefer the Mark II that was a little slower, but still pretty fast, with the built-in Carnage-style shield and the 3 guns? Or do you prefer this slower Mark III with the 3 mediums and the physical shield? Okay, we're going to use our tulumbas to hit him, use our shield to protect us. It's kind of hard to angle it. And then, of course, we'll dash back out of the way when needed. But you can see, and by the way, the shield has the exact amount of hit points as the bot itself. So if the bot has 180,000 hit points, so does the shield. It's good to know. All right, let's see who we can take out around the corner here. Once again, I do like the tulumbas. He's got some good firepower. And also, that helps to make up for that long reload time. The dash helps to get in range when needed. Of course, we just jumped right into that Rog, so we'll just have to back off from him and see if we can get a shot into him. But that new speed, we'll be testing that out this weekend as well. And I had to lead my shots into him because he jumped in the air there. Let's dash back out of range if we can. That's one helpful thing about him. So you got a 20-second cooldown on that jump. You're going to have to get out of range to to stay out of orkan fire. That means you got to save that dash for when you really need it. It's more like a Griffin jump now than anything else. We did pretty good there for our first time to ever use the dash. Let's look at the guy on the other team, the top red guy here, see what he was using. And yeah, he had a Mark III, a Fury. He's trying out a bunch of different things. Got that new ROG design. No heavy molots yet, but he did pretty well there. Well, let's try one more match and see if we get to try out a few of the other versions on the dash. But we got to try out so far the tarans. We tried out the orkans, and we tried out the molots and the tulumbas there. Yeah, let's jump into another match and see if we get a different map and see how we do. Like I said, my first impression is with the slower speed. I like the orkans for just a total destruction up close. I like the tulumbas from a distance. I would probably like the molots from a distance. And I'm not sure besides that what I would do. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with the molots because I see a Fury back there. Kind of weird. It's asking us to test out our bot here, and it didn't ask us in our first match. Only asking us in our second match. So we'll go ahead and do the tutorial here. Okay, got that done. And let's see if we can dash over to this beacon here. All right. And let's go ahead and start hitting some targets here with the long-range molots. Now we got to lead our target here, of course. And we'll see how the speed up goes. It's really hard to tell if I'm hitting somebody or if somebody else is, but we'll just watch careful to see how we do. Okay, here comes a Rog. We're going to use our shield to stay out of his way. And we also have a Fury to deal with here. I'd love to get down below this hill away from this Rog, but let's just work on him while he's busy with other people. I think we got him from that here. Looks like we did. And we're going to back off out of range of that Fury and see if we can damage him further. And that's one of the beauties of the dash, of course, is ducking back out of danger. Okay, we got a guy over at our beacon. And that you can see the speed on that Rog now. He's got some lag, of course, but that Rog is going to be a possible contender now that beacons are that much more important. Okay, looks like I got him again with the molots. And since I'm kind of the long-distance player, I'll head that way and recap that beacon there. This shield is definitely hard to use. It's a narrow shield, and you have to angle it just right to use it. But so far, the molots have been pretty effective, if you can tell. We've got another guy right behind us, also using molots. Alright, that dash jump helped us to get up on the hill here, so we can recap this beacon. And let's see, we got a Rog or something down here, right below us. Oh, that's another dash. You can tell it's got the 3 medium weapons there. So yeah, the molots on here have been pretty impressive. I would prefer a Galahad shield because you can really block and fire at the same time. But at a long-range distance, I bet you could turn the shield when needed to block geckos or something else to get yourself out of trouble. Up close, the shield's a little tricky to use. So let's watch that molot speed up and see if it helps us or not. You definitely have to lead the target the further that you are away. So that just takes some practice. But so far we've been doing good with our molot version. We do have to capture some more beacons. Alright, let's dash over and get into range of some of these guys here. Okay. But yeah, definitely I'm welcoming the firearms speed up for sure. Also, look in front of us, that Griffin right there has the new paint job on it as well. That's a new green paint job. The Leo, the Griffin, the Destrier, the Rog, all have new paint jobs, and one other that we will take a look at this weekend as well. Let's work on that Carnage Shield and see how we do against him. Not too shabby. So now we've gotten to take a look at most of all the variations on the dash. We're not going to try the Hydras And we haven't done the Punishers quite yet, but I tested out those a bunch last weekend. Let's get a little closer in here. We've been sitting back for so long, we need to start being a little more aggressive for beacons, since that's what really wins a match here. We got a guy going for our beacon. Let's watch him real careful. Let's see here. All right, so like I said, in the comments below, I would love to hear what your what you think about the Mark III dash versus the first two versions. I'd love to hear what you would run on the dash Mark III. Would you run the up close tarans or orkans or punishers? Would you like the long range tulumbas or molots? How do you think it will be most effective compared to the other versions of the dash? Let's see if we can get a little closer range in. There's one of those heavy molot guys. We'll just check out the molots on this shield here and see how long it takes to break through that carnage shield. Okay, so we broke through the carnage shield, and we've done, and we're, you know, almost to 600 range there, and still did some decent damage against him. Okay, we better get closer in. Even if I lose a bot, we really need to jump into some other bots here and test out some other things. So let's let our molots rip. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the orkans. We got to get into this fight or we're going to lose. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get into 300 range and see what we can do here. I will tell you, I'm not a big fan of the Mark III. The speed is horrendous. It's got a 30 speed. I don't like the shield. You have to use the shield or shoot your guns. You don't really get much of a choice between the two. So I don't know if this bot really knows what it wants to be. And I think that's the big issue I've had ever since the first version. I thought the first version was almost perfect. It knew what it wanted to be. It wanted to be a dash bot who actually dashes and moves quickly. Like the ROG is right now, it had the speed to dash in and out of situations. And it had the quick dash to maneuver and flank the enemy and dodge. And of course, it made up for that powerful speed and dash by not having a lot of firepower, just 2 medium guns and no shield. So I thought that was pretty balanced and made sense. The Mark II traded in. We'll try the Punishers. We haven't really done that yet here. There's only 2 of us left, so we're going to really get to fight everybody here. And we're at 500 range. We should be able to pick that guy off here. Okay. I'm going to use my shield to block this guy for a moment so I can get out of his way. And he has to reload. And that's, like I said, that's the issue, is you can't shoot while you're moving. So you've got to deal with these guys here. Yeah. Like I said, the only one I've really enjoyed so far, well, the tulumbas, which I accidentally picked. I should have done the Terran, but that's okay. Let's hit this guy when he lands. Yeah, this match is going to be over. There's no way we can compete with these guys if I'm using a gun with 18 seconds reload. Like I said, I hit the wrong button when I selected the bot here. We probably won't make it too far. If I can get one more volley on him, it would be nice, but probably won't. We'll hide here for a moment. Yeah, we'll use our shield to block that guy. All right, last chance here. We got a guy right here. Let's use our jump. You know, at spawn, you're not really even turning the right direction, so it's really hard to do anything. Okay. Yeah, we were a little overrun. Kind of hard to fight 5 guys with just yourself there. But we got to try out the different dashes, and these battles kind of mirror my thoughts on it. I don't think that the second 2 versions of the dash knew what it wanted to be. The first version was quick and fast, and it had the dash ability, and it sacrificed firepower and speed, firepower and shield to be a beacon runner. The second version had a little more firepower, almost too much, because it still had decent speed and a quick dash, so that was the problem. We still, once again, did really good, top damage for our team, just didn't have a very strong team behind us. Let's look at the dash one more time and offer closing thoughts here. Like I was saying, the dash 1 knew what it wanted to be, and did pretty well at that. I hope they keep that dash 1 to further test. The Dash 2 was pretty decent, a little slower but still quick with the fast dash. The built-in shield was a little much, and the 3 weapons was a little much. I would sacrifice either the built-in ancile shield or the 3 mediums on the Mark II. This Mark III, I really don't think it knows what it wants to be. It is slow, takes forever to do the dash, and the shield is kind of like an ECU shield to the side. It's kind of useless. You can't really fire a wall using it very easily. I wouldn't use tarans or punishers up close with it because it can't get out of trouble if you're in it. That's why I would choose to use orkans up close, or maybe tulumbas or molots from a distance. So I really wouldn't get this bot, wouldn't be interested, whereas the Mark I I would, and possibly the Mark II. So that's what we've been testing this weekend, and we'll come back with a couple other videos testing out the new skins, the firearms speed up, the heavy molot, the ROG changes, and check those out as well. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Click like if you did, share it if you will, and if you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, please do so. We've got a lot more videos coming up this weekend. If you have any comments or questions or any requests, anything you'd like me to run this weekend, please leave them in the comment section below. That's it, and I hope you have a great War Robots day.